Is the cream you're pouring over your crumble actually just a chemically thickened emulsion of buttermilk and cheap vegetable oil? Right now, sitting in your fridge, there's probably a pot of what you think is double cream. You bought it from Tesco or Sainsbury's, trusting the word cream on the label. But here's what they're not telling you, and what I'm going to expose today. Some of these products sitting right there on British supermarket shelves contain up to 1/3 vegetable oil instead of dairy. Others have been aggressively heated to temperatures hotter than boiling water, literally cooking your cream in an industrial facility before it even reaches your kitchen. And the most disturbing part? Major brands, household names you see every single day, are adding seaweed extracts, bacterial slime, and modified cornstarch to products they are still legally allowed to call cream. We're talking about finding 3 different types of chemical gum in a single pot of luxury cream. We're talking about emulsifiers that recent laboratory studies from 2024 have linked directly to gut inflammation. You'll never know the truth unless you look past the fancy branding. The cream your grandparents bought had one single ingredient: cream. That's it. Today's supermarket shelves are packed with products that look like cream, pour like cream, and crucially, cost the same as cream but contain ingredient lists that read like a complex chemistry experiment. Palm oil masquerading as dairy. Stabilizers and gums desperately holding together what ultra-processing broke apart. And the worst part, the multi-billion-pound companies making these products are banking on you not reading the label. They're counting on you grabbing the same green or blue tub you always buy from Asda or Morrison's, trusting that cream means cream. But it doesn't anymore. Some of these products should legally be called cream alternatives or cream substitutes, but they're marketed right alongside real dairy cream, and most shoppers have absolutely no idea they're being sold something completely different. In this video, we've gone through dozens of cream products currently sold in UK supermarkets, from Aldi to Waitrose, and we will break down exactly which ones are total rubbish. I'll show you the data. We will expose the cream products you absolutely need to avoid, the 9 worst offenders on the market. Then, and only then, I'll tell you the handful which are actually still worth buying, the ones that are real, pure, and safe. You'll find out which ingredient, common in many British creams, is actually classified as a possible carcinogen. I'll show you how to spot the difference between naturally thick cream and cream that's been bulked up with industrial thickeners. We'll break down the specific lab data that links certain common additives to serious health issues. And I promise you, the most shocking revelation involving a major corporate decision that affects millions of UK households without them even knowing comes near the end. By the time this is finished, you'll know more about what you're actually putting in your body than 90% of shoppers. And you'll never look at a pot of cream the same way again. Let's start with the most blatant deception on UK supermarket shelves. And you can find this right now in the chilled section sitting right next to actual dairy cream in almost every major store. Number 9 is Elmlia Double. Look at the packaging. And it looks exactly like real double cream. It sits in the dairy aisle of your local Tesco or Sainsbury's, yet here is what the ingredient label actually says: 61% buttermilk and up to 35% vegetable oils, specifically a cheap cocktail of coconut oil, palm oil, and rapeseed oil. Then come the stabilizers. You'll find E412, which is gar gum, E410, which is locust bean gum, and E407, which is carrageenan extracted from seaweed. Then there are industrial emulsifiers and added carotene color to make it look like real cream. Let that sink in for a moment. Nearly 1/3 of what you are pouring onto your dessert is highly processed vegetable oil, not dairy, not cream. They've taken leftover buttermilk, blended it with cheap palm oil, added 3 different types of industrial gum to make it artificially thick, thrown in some emulsifiers to stop it from separating, and dyed it to look like real dairy. The fat content sits around 31 grams per 100 milliliters, whereas real double cream must have a minimum of 48 grams. They are giving you significantly less actual milk fat, but charging you premium cream prices for a cheap oil emulsion. Elmlia markets this heavily on the fact that it has double the shelf life of regular cream. Of course it does. It isn't real cream, it's a highly processed vegetable oil mixture with enough chemical stabilizers to survive a nuclear winter. Real cream goes off because it is a fresh, live dairy product. This lasts for weeks because it is an industrial food item designed for retail shelf stability, not nutritional quality. Consumers describe the taste as odd, synthetic, and slightly off, leaving a weird, greasy coating in your mouth because you are eating palm oil thickened with seaweed gum. Yet it sits there in the dairy aisle, fooling thousands of British shoppers every single day who think they are buying real dairy. Moving on to number 8, which is supermarket own brand UHT Long Life Double Cream. You'll find this in Tesco, Asda and Morrison's, often sitting on ambient shelves outside the fridge. This actually is dairy cream, but it has been processed so aggressively that it has been fundamentally ruined. UHT stands for ultra heat treatment. They take the cream and blast it at temperatures between 135 and 150 degrees Celsius. For context, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. They are heating your cream up to 50 degrees hotter than boiling water. It only lasts for a few seconds, but that is more than enough to trigger the Maillard reaction. That's the chemical process that browns your toast and makes a grilled steak taste savory. Except you do not want your fresh cream to taste cooked, burnt, or caramelized, which is exactly what happens here. The texture is completely wrong too. If you try to whip UHT Long Life cream, you will notice it takes twice as long, never reaches the same voluptuous volume as fresh cream, and the foam collapses almost immediately because the extreme heat has permanently damaged the protein structure that is supposed to trap air bubbles. Why do they do it? Pure corporate convenience. It can sit in an unrefrigerated warehouse for 9 months, saving supermarkets a fortune in chilled logistics. But you pay the price in taste and texture. If you already feel like checking your own fridge right now to see what you've been buying, smash that subscribe button because it gets even harsher from here. Number 7 takes us to supermarket. Extra thick double cream with modified starch. Extra thick sounds luxury, doesn't it? It sounds like you are buying something richer and more velvety. The reality is that real double cream is naturally incredibly thick all by itself. If a manufacturer is adding extra ingredients to make it thick, you have to ask what they are hiding. In many supermarket own brand extra thick ranges, particularly some lines found in Morrison's or Lidl, you will find modified tapioca or maize starch listed as E1422 or E1442. These are chemically altered starches used to instant thicken liquids. By using cheap starch to create a thick texture, the manufacturer can cut down on the expensive ingredient, the actual milk fat, and replace it with water and starch. It's a complete cheat to create the illusion of a high-fat luxury product while cutting production costs, and you end up paying premium prices for cheap filler. Number 6 is Elmlia Single. If you thought their double version was bad, this one is an absolute horror show. It contains 86% buttermilk, 13% palm and rapeseed oil, and the exact same trio of industrial stabilizers, gar gum, locust bean gum, and carrageenan, alongside buttermilk powder and artificial colorings. Single cream should be pure, light dairy fat, around 18%. This is just a bottle of leftover industrial byproduct, bound together with environmental disaster oil. Palm oil production is one of the leading causes of rainforest destruction globally, and here it is, hidden inside a product masquerading as British cream. Bought by millions of people who don't read the back of the bottle. Number 5 is Anchor whipping cream from their professional and food service ranges. This one is highly deceptive because Anchor is a massive, trusted brand known for quality butter. But look at their commercial whipping cream label. It contains cream and milk solids, which is fine, but then it throws in emulsifiers like E471 and E433, alongside 3 separate stabilizers: gar gum, xanthan gum, and carrageenan. Xanthan gum is literally a slime produced by bacterial fermentation. They are mixing bacterial slime and seaweed into dairy so that the cream can withstand the brutal abuse of commercial kitchens, staying stable under hot buffet lights for hours. Real cream doesn't need bacterial slime to hold its shape. It just needs to be left alone. This brings us to number 4. Any cream containing polysorbate 80, also known as E433. This emulsifier is heavily used in commercial food service creams across the UK to stop fats from separating. The medical research surrounding this chemical is genuinely alarming. A major laboratory study published in 2024 in the journal Communications Biology found that polysorbate 80 directly alters the gut microbiota, destroying the beneficial bacteria in your intestines. The same study revealed it promotes low-grade systemic inflammation and damages the delicate intestinal lining, leading to increased gut permeability. If your cream requires an industrial emulsifier linked to gut damage just to stop it from turning back into liquid, you aren't buying real dairy. You are buying a chemistry project. Number 3 is any cream containing mono and diglycerides of fatty acids, listed as E471. You will spot this frequently in long-life whipping creams and extra-thick commercial dairy. First, E471 can hide hidden residues of dangerous trans fats without needing to declare them on the label due to legal loopholes. Second, a massive French epidemiological study published in 2024 in PLOS Medicine, which followed over 92,000 adults, found that higher long-term intake of mono and diglycerides was significantly associated with increased cancer risks, particularly breast and prostate cancers. Another study in the British Medical Journal linked these same emulsifiers to vascular disease. Furthermore, E471 is often derived from animal fats, meaning unsuspecting vegetarians are consuming animal byproducts without their knowledge because British labelling laws don't force brands to specify the origin. Number 2 is a massive corporate controversy: Arla dairy products and the recent feed trial. In late 2024, Arla, which supplies a massive percentage of the fresh cream and milk to UK supermarkets like Asda and Morrisons, rolled out a trial of a synthetic cattle feed additive called Bovia, or 3-nop, across 30 British farms. It's designed to chemically suppress an enzyme in a cow's stomach to reduce methane emissions by 30%. While regulators claim it is perfectly safe and doesn't pass into the milk, Arla introduced this trial with absolutely zero public consultation or warning. British consumers were furious, sparking viral boycotts on social media, where people filmed themselves pouring dairy down the drain. Because Bovia is a farming input, it is completely unlabeled on the pot. If you buy Arla-produced cream, you have absolutely no way of knowing whether the dairy came from a chemically altered trial herd or a traditional farm, representing a complete collapse of corporate transparencies. Finally, number 1 on our list is any cream utilizing carrageenan or E407 as its primary stabilizer. It is the single most common additive used to fix degraded, over-processed cream. Extracted from red seaweed, it sounds natural, but food-grade carrageenan can easily degrade into a highly toxic form called polygenan within the acidic environment of the human stomach. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies this degraded form as a Group 2B possible human carcinogen. Animal models consistently show that carrageenan triggers severe intestinal ulceration and colitis. When cream is ultra-pasteurized or stripped of fat, its natural structure collapses into a watery mess. Manufacturers use carrageenan as a chemical glue to artificially recreate the luxurious mouthfeel of fresh dairy. If you see E407 on the label, it is absolute proof that the dairy has been processed so brutally that it can no longer function without chemical life support. And now, What it was worth watching all the way through for. We are finally leaving the industrial chemistry experiments, the seaweed glues, and the hidden palm oil behind. It is time for the reward, the part of the video where we look at the dairy products that actually deserve a place in your shopping trolley and your body. The good news is you do not need to go to some ultra-exclusive, overpriced boutique farm shop to get real, unadulterated dairy. You just need to know what to look for on the shelves of your local supermarket. Let's kick off with the absolute gold standard of British dairy, a product that has earned its reputation through literal centuries of tradition. Rodda's Cornish clotted cream. This isn't just cream, it is a protected piece of British culinary heritage. Based in Cornwall and run by the same family since 1890, Rodda's doesn't use shortcuts, factory thickeners, or high-tech stabilizers. Their ingredient list is beautifully, perfectly brief: 100% Cornish cow's milk. That is it. The magic here is all in the traditional production method. They take the rich, high-fat milk from local Cornish pastures, gently bake it in large, shallow pans, and allow it to cool slowly. This slow cooking process causes the rich cream to rise to the top, creating that iconic, thick, golden crust. It holds a protected designation of origin status, meaning it is legally forbidden from containing additives or being produced anywhere else. When you spoon it out, the texture is incredibly rich, dense, and velvety, with a subtle nuttiness from the baked crust that no industrial manufacturer could ever replicate with modified starch or gar gum. Price-wise, a standard 227-gram tub will set you back around £2 to £2.50 in Tesco, Sainsbury's, or Waitrose. That works out to roughly £1 per 100 grams, which might seem a bit pricier than a cheap synthetic alternative. But you are paying for pure, concentrated milk fat with zero added water or chemical fillers. It is an honest price for an uncompromised product, ideal for anyone wanting the ultimate luxury for a weekend treat. Next up, if you are looking for the perfect clean option for everyday cooking, pouring, and baking, look no further than Yeo Valley Organic Double Cream. This is arguably the finest mainstream double cream you can buy in the UK today. Independent laboratory tests and strict organic certifications back this brand up completely. The ingredient list is a masterclass in simplicity. Organic cream derived entirely from British milk. Because it carries the Soil Association's certified organic stamp, it means the cows spend their days grazing on lush, pesticide-free British clover pastures. They are never pumped full of routine antibiotics or growth hormones, and because it is strictly organic, there is absolutely zero risk of any hidden synthetic feed additives or experimental methane-suppressing chemicals entering the food chain. When you open a pot of Yeo Valley, you immediately notice the difference from the standard processed stuff. It has a beautiful, natural ivory hue, a clean, sweet dairy aroma, and a fat content of 45 grams per 100 milliliters. It whips up into a stable, voluminous foam without needing a drop of carrageenan or xanthan gum, and it incorporates into hot savory sauces smoothly without splitting. It is widely available at around £1.80 to £2 for a 250 milliliter pot across Sainsbury's, Ocado, and Co-op, costing about 70 to 80 pence per serving. The only minor downside is that because it is a genuine live dairy product with no industrial preservatives, its shelf life is short once opened, meaning you need to use it within a few days, but that is exactly how real food is supposed to behave. If you want an independent, old-fashioned dairy experience that blows supermarket giants out of the water, look for Longley Farm Double Cream. Based in Yorkshire, this traditional producer has been doing things the right way for decades, ignoring every single cost-cutting industrial trend that has ruined modern food. Their ingredients list reads simply, pasteurized cream. They do not use ultra-high temperature processing. They stick to traditional low-temperature pasteurization, which makes the dairy safe while preserving the delicate, natural flavor molecules of the milk. Real consumer reviews consistently rank Longleaf Farm as being in a completely different league compared to standard supermarket creams. It is naturally thick, rich, and possesses a clean, traditional dairy flavor that leaves no greasy, synthetic coating on your tongue. Because they don't bulk it up with water or starches, it behaves perfectly when whipped or heated. It can be slightly harder to find than the massive corporate brands, but it is regularly stocked in regional Morrisons, select co-op stores, and independent grocers. At around £1.50 for a 250ml pot, it offers extraordinary value, proving you do not have to spend a fortune to keep industrial chemicals out of your kitchen, the option that might surprise you the most. Standard Basics Supermarket Own Brand Fresh Double Cream. I am talking about Tesco Fresh British Double Cream, Asda Fresh British Double Cream, or Morrison's British Double Cream found in the chilled aisle. If you flip these basic pots over and read the labels, you will find a wonderful surprise. 9 times out of 10, the ingredient list states exactly one thing: pasteurized cream or pasteurized milk. No stabilizers, no emulsifiers, no modified starches, and no gums. The massive irony of the British High Street is that the cheapest, most basic fresh double cream on the shelf is often infinitely cleaner and better for your health than the premium-looking, long-life or extra-thick versions right next to it. At around £1.20 for a 300ml pot, it costs a mere 12 pence per serving, making it accessible for absolutely any budget. It is real, pure dairy cream with a minimum 48% fat content, completely unadulterated. The only catch is, you must buy it from the fridge, never the ambient shelf. And check the back to ensure no cheeky stabilizers have been added to that specific batch. It is the ultimate proof that eating clean doesn't have to be expensive. To make sure you never get taken for a ride in the dairy aisle again, you need a bulletproof strategy for when you are standing in Tesco, Asda, or Waitrose. Here are the definitive non-negotiable rules for buying cream in the UK. First, check the location of the product before you even touch the pot. If it is sitting on an ambient, unrefrigerated shelf instead of the chilled dairy aisle, it is a massive red flag that the product has been ultra-heat treated and structurally ruined for long-term storage convenience. Second, flip the tub over and look for the word buttermilk, paired with any mention of vegetable lipids like palm oil, coconut oil, or rapeseed oil, because if you see them, it means you are holding a chemically thickened oil emulsion designed to mimic dairy rather than actual cream. Third, treat the presence of any E numbers between E400 and E499, specifically carrageenan, guar gum, and xanthan gum, as an immediate green light to put the product right back on the shelf, because real dairy fat requires 0 industrial adhesives to stay bound together. Fourth, inspect any luxury container marked extra thick with extreme suspicion, making sure that the texture is derived purely from natural milk fat fractions and not bulked out with modified maize or tapioca starch hidden in the ingredients list. Fifth, look explicitly for the word pasteurized rather than UHT or long life on the front panel, guaranteeing that the dairy has been processed gently at lower temperatures to preserve its natural cellular integrity, health benefits, and clean flavor profile. Finally, check the legal product description on the back of the pot. If it says cream alternative or blend of buttermilk and vegetable oils instead of just double cream or single cream, you are being legally tricked into buying a cheap substitute at premium dairy prices. When you sum it all up, the modern industrial dairy sector is explicitly engineered to maximize corporate shelf life and slash retail distribution costs at the absolute expense of your health and culinary experience. Multi-billion-pound conglomerates are betting that busy British shoppers will simply grab the familiar green, blue, or purple tub without ever scrutinizing the chemical list printed on the back. By understanding the simple mechanics of how real dairy behaves versus how an ultra-processed oil emulsion is glued together, you completely strip these corporations of their power to deceive you. It requires exactly one single shift in your shopping mindset. Stop looking at the brand imagery on the front of the packaging and start reading the raw data on the back. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this deep dive into what is truly happening on our supermarket shelves. If this investigation opened your eyes to the hidden additives in your food, please hit that like button right now and share this video with a friend or family member who buys long life or extra thick dairy for their Sunday roasts. Drop a comment below and let me know exactly which of these brands is sitting inside your fridge right now. Or tell me which everyday food product you want us to independently investigate next. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you do not miss our upcoming expos on the hidden reality of supermarket cheeses. Until next time, read your labels, trust your gut, and protect your plate.